Hello, lovely people. I've got a spicy little story for you today, so sit back, relax, and let's dive right in. I'm a single woman who's always been pretty good with business. Back in my younger years, I made a lot of money, like a lot. And now, I'm living the good life, without even having to work. I spend my days pursuing hobbies, traveling, and basically doing whatever I want. As for why I'm still single, well, honestly, I've just been having way too much fun on my own. I never saw the appeal of tying myself down with marriage and the whole wife or mom thing. So I kept things carefree, and before I knew it, time flew by. But don't get me wrong, while I didn't settle down, I did make sure to take care of myself. I've always been into fitness, and I've got a pretty solid workout routine. People say I look way younger than my actual age, and hey, I'm not complaining. Recently, I got into tennis, so I joined a local tennis club in my neighborhood. It's a small group, just 10 of us, but my social butterfly skills kicked in, and I made friends quickly. Plus, I've got pretty good coordination, so picking up the game wasn't hard at all. One day, after practice, the group decided to grab some beers. And guess what? That's when I noticed him. Tall, handsome, and cool as a cucumber. He had this calm, quiet confidence that reminded me of someone from my past. My heart did a little flip-flop when I realized he looked just like my first love from way back when. As luck would have it, we lived in the same direction, so we ended up walking home together. His voice, the way he talked, his little gestures, it was eerie how much he reminded me of my first love. I felt like I was 19 again, falling for the same guy all over. Of course, we kept it casual at first, just tennis buddies, right? But I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more there. So I kept showing up to every tennis meetup, and surprise, surprise, so did he. As we got closer, things naturally escalated. I invited him over to my place, and before long, we were spending a lot of time together. It was fun, light, and honestly, I felt more alive than I had in years. Then came the plot twist. One day, I got a message about my high school reunion. I'd never been to one before. I always avoided them because, well, let's just say high school wasn't exactly a time of fond memories. You see, my first love? Yeah, he ended up with one of my so-called friends. She stole him from me, and it was brutal. After graduation, I cut ties with everyone from that time in my life. But this time, I felt ready. Curious, even. I wanted to see how everyone had turned out. So I decided to go. On the day of the reunion, I went all out. Hair, makeup, outfit. I wanted to look like the picture of success. When I walked into the venue, there were about 13 of us, and let me tell you, time had not been kind to most. And then there she was, my old friend, the one who stole my first love. She walked in late, and honestly, she looked rough. Life hadn't been easy on her. I felt a mix of satisfaction and pity, but mostly I was glad I'd come. But hold up, the real shocker came when I left the reunion. As I was walking out, guess who I ran into outside? Yep, him. The guy from the tennis club. And you won't believe this, he's her son. My mind was blown. Turns out, after she stole my first love, they got pregnant, got married, and had him. But tragedy struck, and her husband, my first love, died in a car accident when their son was still young. So, she raised him on her own. Now here's where things get even crazier. Later that night, her son, the guy I'd been spending all this time with, showed up at my door. Drunk. He told me that he'd been falling for me all this time but had been too scared to admit it. He also said that learning about his parents' past at the reunion really messed him up. He was angry at his mom, confused about his dad, and just overwhelmed. He started crying, and before I knew it, I was holding him, trying to comfort him. And then we kissed. It was like all the tension that had been building up between us finally exploded. One thing led to another, and, well, we spent the night together. After that, things got even more intense. We started seeing each other constantly, and before long, it was like we were practically living together. His mom, my old friend, didn't even notice. She was too busy dealing with her own life. But then came the kicker. I found out I'm pregnant. At my age. And he's 20 years younger than me. Talk about a shock. Now he's suggesting we, well, not keep the baby. And I'm torn. Part of me feels guilty, like I'm betraying my old friend all over again. But another part of me can't deny the feelings I have for him. I mean, he's her son, but what can I say? Life's messy. So, now I'm stuck wondering, what do I do? How do I navigate this crazy situation? I've got no idea, but it sure feels like I'm in the middle of some wild romance novel. Thoughts?